Hey everybody, my name is Andres,
I'm Scott.
I'm Abe.
and thanks for tuning in to Between Two Stands, a show that takes a closer look at the personalities that make up the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. And we did a trivia show last week, and because Abe is the loser of that show, he gets to host this show. Congrats, Abe.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm so excited to be the host this week. I am looking forward to not winning again.
I'm hoping to never host this show.
So, but are we doing if you win twice in a row, you have to host the third one, or is it,
I think
keep things fair?
I'll probably end up just hosting next
We're
time.
making we're making the rules as we go along.
Okay. So, the first question for this week is.
Oh wait, who do we yell?
How do we buzz
Oh,
in?
How do we buzz in? How do we buzz
This
in?
one, you buzz in saying Dietrich Buxtehude. Buxtehude.
Dietrich Buxtehude. It's hard to remember that one. Okay, Dietrich. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Which of the Russian 5 composers was a chemist before turning to music professionally?
Dietrich Buxtehude.
Scott.
Borodin.
Yes. Very nice.
Wow.
Yes!
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
Oh.
a good. I had no idea. That's amazing.
Yeah. So when I was reading up on my trivia research, he was the eldest of the Russian 5 when that group started. So he had already had quite a career as a chemist.
I think
Nice.
that they also tried to, because he was such a promising composer, some of the other composers really egged him on to get him to write more music.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting.
That's pretty cool. I wonder. Yeah. I mean,
Um,
that's good. Good for him. I wonder if he's if he was known in the chemistry world still. Like how Ives is known in finance. I wonder if he had a
Yeah.
lasting
it seemed
career.
like he had, I don't know a lot of the technical terms because I'm not a chemist.
Yeah,
But
right.
it seemed like he was working on some pretty interesting things. So
He mixed a lot of stuff together. Sorry
Yeah,
for
like
anyone
an
who's a
entire
chemist.
discipline.
Yeah.
And then
mixing.
just mix some notes together and call it music.
Right,
It's-
exactly.
Yeah. Right.
I've seen Breaking Bad. I know what it is.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, guys.
Wait, I
Next.
think I've only ever played 2 pieces by Borodin. Have y'all ever played anything other than Polovetzian dances and then the steps of Central Asia?
Yeah, he's got a couple string quartets.
Oh, okay.
No wonder.
Yeah. So, and the most famous one is the Nocturne movement from the second quartet, and that's I think it was adapted for the Broadway musical Kismet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
One of the love songs.
very nice.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Scott is in the lead, 1-0.
How do we buzz in? How do we buzz in for this one?
You're gonna like this one. You have to repeat Philip Glass 5 times.
Nice.
I do like that.
That is
Okay.
good.
Yeah. And I've got some good wording for this question too. So, which composer feigned himself as an early hipster barista and would count his coffee beans per cup for each cup he
Philip
brewed?
Glass, Philip Glass, Philip Glass, Philip Glass, Philip Glass.
Yes.
Beethoven.
Yes. Nice job,
Wow.
Scott.
Oh,
And
yeah.
here's the. how
I did
many
not pay
beans?
attention to music history, I guess.
The follow-up question: how many beans per cup?
Oh, wasn't it 40? It was
Close.
close. Was it 40?
50.
Andres, you have a
56.
guess? What? 60.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was 60 per cup.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he ended up dying of lead poisoning because of the wine in his glasses, right? Isn't that why he died?
Oh. Beethoven?
Yeah.
Yeah. He had lead poisoning. It's also the pencils and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
With lead.
Didn't they think that from the lock of hair or something?
Right.
Yeah.
There was a lock of hair analyzed a few years ago
Yeah.
by some sort of laser.
They think
Laser
that
technology.
the wine that he was drinking, which he drank a lot of, was extracting lead from the china he was using. Apparently, I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
so you can count as many coffee beans as you want, but just use the right lead-free china. That's the lesson here.
Yeah. All right, guys. Next question.
All right, I got to come back here.
All right. So this is the buzz-in thing. The buzz-in name is Hildegard von Bingen.
Okay.
Bingen. Okay, there we go. All right, this American composer studied medicine from 1911 to 1915 at Wilberforce University before turning to music as a professional.
Hildegard von Bingen. I'm gonna just throw it out
Yes.
here. Copeland.
Wrong.
Damn it.
Although maybe he studied medicine, but that's
He
not.
looks like a
that's not the
doctor.
name I'm looking for. Yeah.
I really don't know.
Okay, so I'll give you another hint. So after he left studying medicine, he went to Oberlin part-time and was an arranger in Hollywood as well.
Hollywood. American composer.
Yes.
I am not getting this.
I don't know.
Especially around that time.
So he would have been in school in the 20s, would have been conducting LA Phil in the 30s, pieces were premiered by Rochester Philharmonic.
Rochester?
Yeah.
Is that a big hint?
It's a bigger hint than what we've had before.
Okay. Hildegard von Bingen. Is it Howard Hansen?
No.
Okay.
But that's also, I guess that's possible, but it's pretty close. It's William Grant Still.
Oh,
wow.
That makes sense.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
it turned
very
out
cool.
his mother wanted him to study medicine, and so he did his bachelor's at Wilberforce University studying medicine.
I didn't know he was in Hollywood.
I didn't either. Yeah.
Yeah. So he did a lot of arranging, but he was never credited for a lot of the work.
Wow. That's a whole other
Yeah.
discussion.
Right. Right. But
Well,
I
that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's it was really interesting reading about him.
So I won that one. I'm just kidding.
Sure. Well, if you get the next, Andres, if you get the next two, I do have a bonus question.
Okay.
Okay.
Pressure's
if we need
on.
a tiebreaker.
Pressure's on.
Okay. So the buzzin composer for this one, or the buzzin name, is Modest Mussorgsky.
Modest Mussorgsky. Okay.
Okay. This Eastern European composer apprenticed to be a butcher.
Eastern European. Modest Mussorgsky. I'm going to do an educated
Yes.
guess here. Dvorak?
Yes.
Yeah!
Yeah.
I was hoping it would actually be Mussorgsky.
So his father was a butcher, and then he apprenticed as one, and they played music together, and obviously before he turned to composing.
Yeah. Wow, that's kind of cool. Hey, you don't become successful right off the bat. You got to make ends meet beforehand, so that's cool.
Nicely played.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first full symphony I ever played as a student was Dvorak's Eighth Symphony. I feel like
Me too,
that
actually.
a lot of youth orchestras take
Yeah.
that one on, and it's a soft spot for me because of that.
I
That's a good
remember
one.
I was playing timpani on that, and it's a very fun last movement. And I was in high school, and I was in this honor band, and I just kept going crazy. I just thought it was the best part ever, and I was admittedly being unmusical, and the conductor was like, less, please. And I'm like, okay, fine, And for the concert, of course, I just went nuts and purposely didn't look at her, and I'm just going crazy. And I look up, I glance up, and she is beat red in the face. She's livid, and I'm just loving life. So anyway, I had a good time.
Yeah, you're probably the only professional musician from that entire group too.
Maybe.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that piece. But okay, all right, cool.
All right. So Scott's got 2. Andres has 1. Final question. Andres can tie it up.
What do we yell?
What are we yelling on this one? Oh yes, we're yelling Aram Khachaturian.
Khachaturian, of course. Just rolls off the tongue.
And I apologize for my pronunciation of these names.
It's okay.
In advance. Okay. So this American composer thought himself to be an amateur mushroom hunter.
Mushroom hunter.
Yes.
you say American?
You're making us look bad here, Abe.
Hey man, I tried to go for the strangest stuff I could find. Yeah.
Arum Khachaturian.
Yes.
I'm just gonna guess barber.
No.
I guess I should make a guess
Here's
here.
for the tie, Andres.
Bernstein.
Is that how to buzz in?
Aram
or is that
Khachaturian
your
Bernstein.
Okay, no. So this one's John Cage.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. He would.
What kind of mushrooms? Were
Yeah.
they?
I don't know. But they were, the funny thing is, there were a
Definitely
couple
not
of people,
truffles.
You know, so all of these things I tried to get from multiple sources to make sure they were, correct. And one person thought that maybe the mushroom hunter thing had something to do with the 4 minutes, 33 seconds.
Really?
Right, just like the mushrooms, the silence.
Oh.
I don't know. I also thought that maybe buzzing in earlier in the game, I would ask you to silently pronounce John Cage.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But then I thought maybe I'd
buzz
give
in
it
for
away.
4:33.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I lost. Admittedly.
And-
So Scott will not be hosting next week. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
It'll be a surprise.
Maybe I will.
Maybe
Maybe I
we'll change the
will.
rules midweek.
I'm getting so tired of being so good at this game. I think that I just need y'all to catch up a little bit.
Yeah.
But we have some more episode to do. We've got a great interview with Ralph coming up, and I'm going to leave y'all to that. But for everybody else, stay tuned, and here is Larry's Joke of the Week.
So the other day, a man knocked on my door and asked for a small donation toward the local swimming pool. So I gave him a glass of water.
Thanks for that, Larry. Our guest today is Principal Clarinetist Ralph Skiano. A native of Alexandria, Virginia, he completed his Bachelor of Music at the Cincinnati Conservatory. He was appointed Principal Clarinetist of the Richmond Symphony and the Des Moines Metro Opera before becoming the Principal Clarinet of the DSO. He has appeared as a soloist several times with both Richmond and the DSO. Ralph has served on faculty on many prestigious institutions, including the College of William and Mary, James Madison University, and the Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music. Ralph, welcome.
Thanks
How's
very
it going?
much, guys.
Hey Ralph, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
We see each other quite a bit because we're on this innovative committee which helps make things like this possible,
Yeah.
come up with ideas. So it's good to see you multiple times a week, I must say. So Ralph, we like to start off the show by asking you what music is on your stand right now.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, the music that's on my stand is I've made myself like a little workbook, and I have two things basically I'm focused on right now. One are these exercises for double tonguing that were done by Bob Spring, who teaches out at Arizona State.
And for people who don't know, can you explain what double tonguing is?
Yeah. Well, double tonguing is like a solution. You know, a lot of times in the music we have to play separate notes, and sometimes they have to be very fast. So single tonguing would be like if you're saying T, 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 T with the tip of your tongue. So if you can imagine if it goes faster and you have to play like T, 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 it gets a little bit more difficult. And then if it goes even faster than that, sometimes you have to fake it.
Would you
But
say it gets tedious?
It's a little tedious. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Sorry.
So the double tonguing is when you use the back of your tongue and you say like tiki, 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 or some people think kitty, 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 but you're basically using the front and the back of your tongue at the same time. And it's a skill that when I was growing up, clarinet players did not learn. But now it seems like all the young bucks are learning how to double
Isn't it
tongue.
triple tongue too?
Yeah,
that
so that
a
would
thing?
be like tiki, ti, tiki, ti, tiki, ti,
tiki,
or you go tiki, 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 tiki.
Wow. That
So
is
you're not
amazing.
using them for any. So like you're not using them for any set rhythms, right? So the triple tonguing is not necessarily for triplets, or is it usually?
Yeah, it would usually be in a situation like think about like the beginning of like Mahler 5 when the trumpet player plays ta-ka-ta-ta,
Okay.
ta-ka-ta-ta. That's triple tonguing.
Gotcha.
Okay. Got it.
But like double tonguing would be like, in is it William Tell? Yeah. So that's all double tonguing. So I've just been doing these really slow exercises that sound terrible and make my wife and dog go insane. And so I've also got the Copeland Concerto I'm trying to memorize.
Oh, the Copeland Concerto. That's a great piece.
Just a light Copeland Concerto to go with that.
Well, it's funny because I saw an interview that the principal clarinet of the New York Phil did with Alec Baldwin, and they were talking about the Copeland Concerto. And then they had a performance that he did of it, and I was just like, this is such a great piece. I got to learn it. And maybe, it's like a smaller orchestra, so I was thinking like maybe we can do it like in a parking garage or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah.
No conductor.
Yeah, that'd be a challenge.
Yeah.
We got plenty of time on our hands to figure it out.
Yeah, but I figure like if we're going to be in an alternate venue, I can't be looking at music. I have to have it memorized. And I really struggle with memorizing things, so.
Yeah. Well, it's a good challenge.
Yeah.
Well, to shift gears away from music for a second, I always like figuring out and sharing things about people that people might not know, especially from the stage, which is the whole point of this show. So, a couple of things you told me this a while back that you used to be. You are a certified clown. And and there's your dog. Yeah, look.
Sorry, he just busted in on us.
Yeah, that's Ralph's dog. Yeah.
What's your dog? What's your dog's name?
This is Bear.
Bear. Okay.
Hey, Bear.
And there's Stacy. Hi, Stacy.
Hey, what's up, Stacy? That's Ralph's wife. But yeah, you used to be you're a certified clown, and you had a motorcycle. Now.
Yeah.
Did those things happen at the same time? Okay.
No.
So that's good to know.
That would have been fun, though. No, I did the clowning when I was a kid because it's funny. Yeah, it's a verb. My dad was a clown first, and so he trained at this clowning school called Just Clowning Around. Actually, I don't know if that was the name of the school or we were in a clowning union. So I think the name of the union was Just Clowning Around. And anyway, he joined first, and his name was Mr. Scooch. And then I thought it looked like a lot of fun, and so I went through the training also and became Small Fry. So then it was like Mr. Scooch and Small Fry, and we went on birthday parties and stuff.
How long was the training for that?
I can't remember. I mean, It was like pretty significant because like all the stuff I didn't know, like things like if you're like a legit clown, you can't show any skin.
Oh, wow.
So like if there's any exposed skin, it has to have makeup on it, and you trademark your actual design of your face and your outfit and your name, and all of that stuff is all trademarked. So it's like,
wow,
I had no idea.
That's really serious. Okay.
It was like kind of serious, yeah. And I mean, it was as serious as being a clown. I mean, like we're still learning how to make balloon animals and juggle and ride unicycles and stuff like that. So it wasn't like,
Right. Wow. I mean, can I ask if the union meetings were funny at all, or?
We didn't really have any meetings.
Oh, okay.
I think it was more of like a booking agency. It was like, hey, Just Clowning Around. I'm having a birthday party. Can you send me a clown?
Gotcha.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I was like 10.
Okay.
So, and how long are you? Is it called a practice? Are you still practicing as a clown? What is it called? Like, are you still clowning? Is that
no, it would be clown. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not anymore. I think actually, so because everything was sort of based on being a character, like being a small version of Mr. Scooch. Okay. So it was like my dad was big, and then I was small, and so I was Small Fry. But then, like, eventually I ended up bigger than my dad, and so the whole thing kind of didn't work anymore, and I didn't want to go through the process of reinventing a new character and
right.
Whatever, that ship sailed. So, but it was fun while it lasted. I mean, I basically just got booked for birthday parties for middle school friends of mine. Like, their parents thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I will say I'm much happier to have you as our clarinetist.
Yeah. Well, so can I ask, what was the most complicated balloon configuration you ever had to make?
There were some really complicated hats that they taught us how to make with like multiple different colored balloons that would make the kids look like roosters or stuff like that. Honestly, where I really focused was juggling and skits. We had to memorize these like skits that we would do at birthday parties to make everybody laugh. So, and magic, we did some magic too.
Oh,
The
cool.
best, oh my gosh, the best. I don't know if well, I don't want to reveal any trade secrets, but we used to do this trick.
Secrets, okay.
We used to do this trick where we would roll up a piece of newspaper into a cone and then pour milk into the cone and then turn it upside down like this, and nothing comes out. And I remember one of my brothers also would clown with us. And he was doing the trick, and he ended up going to the hospital because of like the trick malfunctioned, and it ended up in his eyes.
Oh man!
So,
and the worst part is all the kids were laughing, right? And like,
yeah, I thought it was part of the
So
act.
clowning can be pretty dangerous, though.
It can be very dangerous. Yeah, you got to train right.
And I don't want to forget about that motorcycle. So what kind was it, and how long were you doing that for?
I got a Yamaha Virago, a 750, when I was in school, in my undergraduate.
Okay.
It was the result of a like heartbreaking breakup, and I was like, I'm just gonna
I'm gonna go.
cycle.
Yeah.
Like I picture myself like out there like working on the bike. It was a super
Yeah.
old. It was like a 1972
Cut off T-shirt, just like grease
whole
on the
thing. I mean, like when you play clarinet, you got to do what you can to be tough. So I was like out there like working on the bike. And the funniest thing was that I had this fantasy that I was going to be out there like rebuilding it or something like that. The only thing I ever tried to do was change the oil. And I remember when I did that, like you look at this motorcycle, it's not that much bigger than a bicycle, like it's not a huge one. So I thought like, okay, I can change the oil. It's certain. And I got this tub for the oil, and I popped the oil thing off, and oil started coming out, and it just kept coming and coming and coming, and it filled up the thing that I had, and I didn't have anything else, so I'm like running around my house trying to find stuff. Oil was all over the street. All my neighbors are just like out there.
Oh god,
man.
And you're like, I'm gonna put this up for sale tomorrow.
No, actually, my neighbor hit it with his truck. I don't know if he did it on purpose, but it was super fun to ride while I had it.
Yeah. So that when your neighbor hit it with his truck, that was the end of your motorcycle days?
Yeah, I mean, I bought the motorcycle for like $300, and it was junked. So, yeah, it's dangerous, man.
Yeah. Let's keep you safe. Let's keep you safe.
Yeah.
We want you to have a long, illustrious career. So, let's keep that.
I went to go buy a motorcycle helmet, and the guy who was selling the helmet, I was like, they have full face and like half face or partial face. I don't know, but this thing on the front, the visor. And I didn't know what I wanted. And so I was like, I don't know. What do you suggest? And the guy goes, well, do you want your mother to be able to recognize you after the accident or not? And I was like, okay, maybe I'm doing something that's...
Whoa.
Wow.
I like how it's just like a fact. It's like, there's going to be one. Just, decide.
I know. I was like, well, this will be fun for a little while, but...
that's when I'll be like, you know what? I think I might go get that Subaru Forester instead.
Exactly. How are the safety ratings?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, Ralph, okay, so switching back to the musical gear, what is one thing you wish you'd known before you started your career as a clarinetist?
Oh, man.
Or maybe multiple things, but...
I think what I wish... Okay, there are a couple just like very practical things. I wish that I'd known that it seems like from the moment you leave school or the moment you get your job, especially if you end up in a principal position, that feedback loop that's been so helpful to learn, like getting feedback from a trusted source, completely disappears. So, if you think about, I got my first job when I was 22, and it felt like from then on, I didn't have a way to really assess my progress anymore. I found it really hard to get honest feedback from colleagues. I found it really hard to get honest feedback, even if I go and play for somebody, because all of a sudden when you have a titled position, people feel shy about telling you what they really think, I think. And so it took me a long time to be able to seek out some trusted colleagues and teachers who I could still go to and play for and trust their feedback was honest. And I still find that it's really challenging. You go out on stage and you play something and you can listen to the archive recordings and make decisions based on the archive recording, but a lot of times people will then say, well, it doesn't sound like that in the hall. And you have to say, well, like, how is it different in the hall? Well, how do I make decisions about what to change? Because I just don't know where the feedback should be coming from.
Yeah.
And when, especially when you're coming out of school and you're like, that's all you do is you just like try something, get some feedback, try something else, get some feedback, and that's how you learn. So that's one thing. And then just other practical things. Like I wish I knew a little bit more about how to repair instruments, because if you find yourself in the middle of it, since I grew up on the East Coast, it was like in DC with all the military bands and stuff, like there are just a repairman every corner, And now in the Midwest, it's a little bit harder to find people. And when I have students who need to, get work done, it'd be great if I could just like swap out a pad or do something simple for them.
Yeah.
So I've been learning a little bit.
That feedback thing is really true. It definitely feels like there's an abrupt cutoff, and the training wheels are immediately off, and you just have to fend for yourself a little bit and really trust your instincts too. There's a certain amount of trust I feel like that happens on the job that you have to start implementing immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I always felt like when I was on the audition trail that if I would take an audition, I kept telling myself, like, this is just a snapshot. I'm not a finished product yet. It's like, this is just a snapshot of my progress along the way. It doesn't need to be perfect. I'm still learning. I'm always going to be learning, all that stuff. And then all of a sudden you win the job and it's like, okay, so yesterday I didn't know. Today I know.
Right. I know. Yeah, it's true. And you kind of have to realize that, that whole part you were learning, and I mean it's the whole journey, right? I know it's kind of corny, but it's the whole journey. Like it's not like the day you win the audition, now you're ready. It's like it's like you've been ready. It's just trying to get it up. So yeah, that's really interesting, man. Yeah, I've never really heard that put into words. That makes a lot of sense. So your wife Stacy, who we saw briefly, did something. She's an ER doctor, correct? Or
she's a physician assistant.
Physician assistant. And she did something amazing. And she went down south to help with some of the COVID patients during this pandemic. And she was down there for, was it like 2 months, 3 months?
Yeah, 9 weeks.
9 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, that's incredible. Can you just tell us a little bit about that, what that was like for you being away, and also what her experience was down there?
Yeah. Well, we right around the time that the DSO had to cancel all of our concerts, our future started to become pretty scary. And then around the same time, the state of Michigan canceled all elective surgeries, which is what she does at Children's Hospital in Troy. So when they canceled all of her elective surgeries, she was trying to find work somewhere. And there was this opportunity to go down to New Orleans because they were building a whole like makeshift hospital, like an overflow hospital. They were turning the convention center into an overflow hospital. And so she went down there to work in a COVID positive unit with patients who were moving off of a ventilator. So they didn't need to be in the emergency room anymore, they didn't need to be in the intensive care unit anymore. And they were being transferred to this sort of lower acuity situation. A lot of them were nursing home patients, a lot of homeless people.
Wow.
And so, yeah, she was down there. But the cool thing is that while she was down there, I would send her like little videos or whatever, music. And I remember we were hosting the watch parties that we're doing. And all of a sudden I get a text message from her like, oh, I always loved the way you played that solo. And I was like, what are you talking about? I thought, because basically I wouldn't talk to her from 5 a.m. until 8 p.m. because the days were 14 hours long. And she's in, they call it the hot zone, where it's like you have to be in full on PPE. If they have their phones, it's in a plastic Ziploc bag, so they can't even really use it, And so when she sent me that message, I was like, oh my gosh, is she watching the DSO right now? And then she sent me a picture of her like watching us through a plastic bag on her cell phone.
That is awesome.
Oh, that's
awesome.
amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's how she spent her free time,
Yeah, well, I think it was nice because it was something for for the other healthcare providers to be able to watch and listen to. She also played us for some of her patients and stuff. So
Wow,
That's great.
that's cool.
you know, there was a lot of time to interact with the patients there, because they weren't emergent situations. They were just kind of there waiting for the 14 days to elapse so that they could go back. And
Okay.
Wow. Well, awesome, man. She's like truly like that's a heroic gesture, man. So yeah, she's great. She's great.
Thank you, Stacey. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, normally we ask our guests to do the Rite of Spring, to sing the Rite of Spring. I think we're going to spare you for that because we wanted to ask you about this upcoming project that you've kind of spearheaded with this side-by-side launch that's coming up next week. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
yeah, I think, what we were trying to do was find a way to, we've seen a lot of orchestras put together these collaborative projects where, we all record in our own homes and then blend it into a big symphony orchestra. And we've seen that happening all around the country with different orchestras, actually all around the world. But I think we wanted to try something a little bit different where maybe we could create something with all of us, but also reach out to the community. And we experimented a little bit with a project that was just released a couple days ago with just a quartet. We had a quartet of musicians from the DSO, and then we made little instrumental versions that people could play at home and submit videos of them playing, and we edited them together into like an ensemble. So this is sort of an expansion on that idea where not only are we going to be inviting musicians, but we're also going to be inviting singers from around the city to
That's awesome.
collaborate with us. And so a friend of mine who lives in Milwaukee, there's this theme in the middle of Holst's planets. It's in the Jupiter movement. There's this theme that also appears in many churches. Like it's also a church hymn. And so we took the version that's a church hymn and we wrote new lyrics to it to sort of capture a little bit of a hopeful message about the times that we're living in right now. So hopefully in the next couple of days or weeks, we're going to be launching this program and inviting our city to collaborate with us into this big, giant sort of symphony orchestra made up of Detroit with
That's
choir.
really cool. Yeah, that's amazing. Because we did something similar to that with recently with just like what piece was that again? We did it with
New World Symphony, right?
Well, it was with the
New World
Yeah.
Symphony. Yeah, and that turned out really cool. But this is
Yeah,
like
it was
kind
great.
of on a bigger scale.
Yeah, and there's a message with it too, because with singers you can have words, So Megan Heinrich is the name of the woman who wrote the lyrics that we're going to be using, and it's a powerful way to bring people together to make music, And I think that's part of what we're all missing right now is that sort of feeling that we get when we make music.
Definitely.
I don't think I even totally understood what it was doing to me personally to be able to do that every day, because it's just been a part of my life for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you take it away, it's like, oh wow, that there's a reason I'm feeling this way. It's because I haven't been making music in a while, And so
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like we're making music individually, but we're not making music with each other, and that's the part that's like that. We're striving for that, and we're trying to get as close to it as possible, but it's really impossible until we're in the same room. Really, like you can't really do it.
Yeah.
You can't feed off of people's energy. You can't feed off of cues or anything. It's frustrating. So it's
that immediate intimacy of making music with your colleagues and your friends.
Right.
That's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this will be cool. I think it'll be a chance to really allow our community to make music with us, and I can't think of a better way to sort of try to help people come together a bit. you
Yeah,
know?
definitely, man. I'm looking forward to that.
wonderful.
Well, hey, Ralph, we have a couple seconds left. Can you sing the Rite of Spring?
Sure. Or something like that.
Yeah. Nice, dude. Nice. Thank you. So I figured we might as well drop that. I wanted to hear you sing.
Yeah. Didn't want to leave you disappointed.
Yeah. Ralph, hey, pleasure talking to you, man. Thanks for joining us.
Likewise. Yeah, thanks for inviting me, guys.
Yeah. Take care and see you real soon, man.
You know. Hey everybody, it's Abe again. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode, and don't forget to watch this week's watch parties on Facebook Live and DSO.org. See you next time.